because I just finished watching the Indiana Fever versus Connecticut Sun game, and I swear every time these two teams go up against one another, something happens, and it's honestly never good. It's never good, and of course the biggest story of the night is the story that Caitlin Clark seems to have re-injured her groin.
Caitlin Clark left the court last night in tears, not from a loss, but from something much deeper. Just as the Indiana Fever pulled off a hard-fought win against the Connecticut Sun, Clark went down with yet another groin injury. She slammed her head against the stanchion in frustration. And just like that, the WNBA's biggest star may be sidelined again. How many more hits can she take? How much more can her body endure? And more importantly, how much longer will the league allow this to keep happening? Because this wasn't just a freak injury, this was a boiling point. Stick around. Because what we're about to break down isn't just about one play, it's about the mounting pressure on Caitlin Clark, the brutal physicality of the WNBA, and what this all means for her future. And if you care about the game, hit that like button and subscribe to Spotlight WNBA. This one's got emotion, controversy, and hard questions no one else is asking.
As we all know, last night, Caitlin Clark looks like she re-aggravated the groin injury that has cost her so many games, and now the league is about to find out. The referee situation in this league is unimaginable. It's an abomination. And because Kathy Engelbert, who just a few weeks ago came out and said the referee situation, the officiating is just fine. Well, we saw Caitlin Clark crash out last night over the refs. We've now seen, and we'll take a look, her brother called out the refs last night. We have watched Caitlin Clark get the ever-loving crap kicked out of her for, let me look it down here, looks like about 15 months now, 16 months.
Late in the fourth quarter, Caitlin Clark delivered a slick bounce pass to Kelsey Mitchell for a layup that helped seal the Fever's 85-77 win. But almost immediately after the assist, she grabbed at the inside of her right thigh, grimacing, limping slightly, clearly in discomfort. Then came the moment no fan wants to see. Clark slowly walked over to the basket support and slammed her forehead against the padded stanchion in frustration. She then made her way to the bench, placed a towel over her head, and tried to hide her emotions, but the cameras caught it all. Indiana head coach Stephanie White confirmed after the game that Clark felt a little something in her groin and would be evaluated. But this wasn't just a physical setback. It looked like heartbreak.
Well, there is a phrase that, of course, has taken a hold in society these days, and it starts with F-A-F-O. F around and find out. Well, Kathy Engelbert and the WNBA, well, they have effed around, and now they're about to find out.
Clark's rookie season was already a trial by fire, but in year two, her body's sounding the alarms. Let's be clear, before joining the WNBA, Caitlin Clark had never missed a game. Not in college, not in high school. She was an Iron Woman. Fast forward to this summer, and she's already missed 10 games, including the Commissioner's Cup final. It started in the preseason with quad tightness. Then came a more serious left quad strain that cost her 5 games. After that, a groin injury to the left side that sidelined her for 2 weeks from late June to early July. Now, less than a week after returning from that injury, she's injured the groin again, this time on the right side. That's 2 different legs, 2 different strains, and a clear pattern. Something's not right.
So I'm just going to show you guys the clip. So as you guys can see here, she is dribbling down, she plants her foot, she passes the ball to Kelsey Mitchell on the back door, and then when she is running back on the other end of the court, it seems like she's grabbing her groin area. Now it also seems like she's grabbing her right groin area, and her last groin injury was supposedly on the left side.
Stephanie White didn't mince words when asked about it. There's a level of physicality that they're able to play with against her, she said. I knew it as an opponent, and I see it as her coach. Translation, Caitlin Clark is being roughed up more than most. Now, every WNBA player deals with contact. It's a tough league, but Clark's experience has crossed a line. Elbows, hip checks, grabs off the ball. She's been targeted. And the referees? Silent. Even national broadcasters are starting to speak out. During a recent game against the Dallas Wings, ESPN's Ryan Ruocco and Rebecca Lobo, two of the most respected voices in women's basketball, called out the officiating in real time. After multiple plays where Clark was clearly bumped, hit, or knocked off her path without a whistle, Ruocco didn't hold back. He said, "You can see the contact, you can see the arms, and yet again, there's no call." Lobo echoed that frustration, pointing out how defenders are allowed to get away with things against Caitlin that wouldn't be tolerated against other players. She added, "At some point, you have to protect your stars. She's not asking for special treatment, she's asking for fair treatment. When the game announcers start sounding like the fans, you know something's wrong." And it wasn't just one or two plays, they highlighted a pattern of physicality being ignored. If the league's own broadcast crew is calling out the officiating, how can the WNBA continue to pretend there's no issue? The silence from leadership only makes it louder.
Rebecca Lobo. Rebecca Lobo this past Sunday, Indiana Fever versus Dallas Wings on ESPN. When it comes to announcers speaking out, this might have been the most outspoken announcers have been when it comes to the egregious officiating, but more importantly, the non-calls. When Caitlin Clark is getting grabbed, getting held, getting yanked, getting hugged, getting hacked. Rebecca Lobo said, okay, Sunday, July 13th, I'm going to make sure it's my mission that when I start calling this game, I start calling a spade. And
what happened on that court wasn't just about pain, it was about pressure. Clark didn't just hobble to the bench. She broke. She hit her face under a towel. She slammed her head in frustration. This wasn't the reaction of someone worried about a tweak. It was someone carrying the weight of an entire league and feeling her body start to give out. This is a player who's wired to compete, to carry teams, to change the game. And now she's being forced to sit again. No one talks enough about what that does to someone mentally.
Every time the Indiana Fever plays the Connecticut Sun, it is a very, very physical game. And I'm going to go into some of the clips that are going viral right now. There are multiple moments in this game that were so egregiously called, or there was no calls by the referees, and it's getting out of control at this point. And even Caitlin Clark's brother tweeted, "This one is on the refereeing." Like, there are people in Caitlin Clark's family who are starting to call out the referees because of how bad they have been.
Let's talk numbers. The Fever are 8-5 when Clark plays. Without her, just 4-5. Yes, they've managed to survive without her in stretches. But let's not pretend they're the same team. Not even close. Clark's stat line against the Sun says it all. 14 points, 8 boards, 7 assists, including 9 points and 2 assists in the fourth quarter alone. She's not just the engine, she's the GPS. She leads, she scores, she facilitates, and when she's off the court, the Fever stall. Stephanie White said, "At least we've got experience playing without her," but that's not a vote of confidence. That's damage control.
The WNBA All-Star Game is, of course, in Indianapolis, the home of the Indiana Fever, the home of Caitlin Clark. And now it looks like Caitlin Clark, most likely, I can't imagine that Caitlin Clark will be participating in the three-point contest or the All-Star Game.
Here's the kicker. This all went down the same day Caitlin Clark was named. A WNBA All-Star Game starter, a team captain, and a participant in the three-point contest. It should have been a day of celebration. Instead, it became a crisis. If Clark is forced to sit out the All-Star weekend, it's a nightmare for the WNBA. She's the face of the league right now, the main attraction, the ratings driver. And now the marquee event might be missing its brightest star, all because no one knows how to protect her.
In WNBA All-Star Game in Jeopardy. Bless her heart. Look at that picture. Ah, horrible. Horrible. The league is about to F around and find out.
Let's ask the hard question. Can Caitlin Clark survive this pace? Groin injuries linger. Quad strains don't just vanish. This is now a pattern, and patterns in sports become red flags. Is Indiana overplaying her? Is she pushing herself too hard too soon after injury? Is the league doing anything at all to shield her from unnecessary harm? Because here's the reality, the WNBA needs her, not just this year, not just for highlights, for the future. If Clark breaks down, the league's momentum could go with her.
It was honestly just so heartbreaking to see because in that moment, she just looked so defeated. And Caitlin Clark is somebody, she hides it really well. And I don't know if hiding it or she handles it is probably the right thing to say. She handles the pressure. She handles all of the media spotlight, the attention, the expectations of how she performs on the court, the expectations of the ratings for her games. She handles all of that so well. And
the Fever aren't getting a break either. They're facing the defending champion New York Liberty tonight on the second night of a back-to-back. And Clark, she might be out. Stephanie White said she'll be reevaluated and there will be another conversation in the morning. But one has to wonder, how many more conversations will there be before a serious change happens? How many more times does she need to limp off before the league wakes up? This isn't a matter of toughness, it's a matter of responsibility.
This is cumulative. This is going to keep happening. This game alone, the amount of physical abuse that this girl's getting just hit with again and again and again, it's just never ending.
Caitlin Clark isn't just a rising star. She's the sun around which the entire WNBA is starting to orbit, but even the sun burns out when it's pushed too far, too fast. So we have to ask, will the WNBA step in before it's too late, or will they keep letting their most valuable player get ground into the hardwood night after night? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Should Caitlin skip the All-Star game to heal? Is the league doing enough to protect its stars? And can the Fever survive another stretch without her? If you want more bold takes, behind-the-scenes updates, and raw truth from inside the league, hit that like button and subscribe to Spotlight WNBA because this story, it's just getting started.